Hey everyone, Chef Ralph here, and welcome to another episode of Stirring Up the Past on Chef Ralph's Realm, my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a throwback to something that's becoming a little bit more popular with social media now, and it is Lobster Thermidor. Yes, oh, very fancy sounding, but it's actually pretty basic, and if you do it right, it comes out super, super good. It's a French dish. And the ingredients you're going to need are pretty basic. You can use a whole lobster, but I came across these gigantic lobster tails, so we're going to be doing it just with the tail for this specific recipe. But you would do the same thing that I'm going to do, just with the whole lobster. We've got a little bit of thyme. I would have preferred tarragon, but I'm using what's in my garden, and we're very, very late in the season, so we've got some thyme, some butter, some Dijon mustard, some Gruyere cheese, some mushrooms. Now, if you see, these mushrooms I quarter, so into like these little wedge cap things. For this specific recipe, I kind of like the chunks better than the slices, so that's what we're going with, and a little bit of flour. All right, so we're going to want to split. Let me just move stuff around a little bit. We're going to want to start at the back and then split this lengthwise. I would start at this second knuckle. You can finish the rest of it. Try to do it as clean as possible. This is not doing that, but it's okay, because once it cooks, you shouldn't be able to notice. Alright, so we're going to split it open. We're going to get rid of the grossness, the poop track. I'm actually going to use a pair of scissors to cut the rest of it down. These are the my Korean kitchen shears, which I absolutely love Korean kitchen shears. Okay, so we're going to take the meat out of the shell. I'm going to put the shells to the side. Alright, so now we're just going to chunk the lobster into, nice bite-sized pieces. Keep in mind it is going to shrink a little bit when we cook it. Alright, now that we have our lobster all processed, I'm going to take a minute to wipe everything down, clean up a bit. Alright, so we got everything on the stove. We're pretty much prepped. We're going to turn onto a medium to high heat. Turn my fan on. Sorry about the noise. And we're going to start with a little bit of butter in the pan. I'm going to take about a tablespoon of butter. In the meantime, we can roast off some of these lobster shells, just so, even though we're going to cook the whole thing, I want them to be pre-cooked. So we're going to just pop them into the oven on 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. So we're going to throw in our mushrooms. We'll cook the mushrooms down. Once we have the mushrooms starting to saute, we're going to throw in some of the herb aromatics, the thyme. You can throw it in stick and all, because we're going to remove the sticks. Alright, once we've got a little bit of color on the mushrooms, we're going to throw the lobster meat in there. Gonna add a little bit more butter, maybe about another tablespoon. lobster shells are roasting. Once the lobster is about 3/4 of the way cooked, it looks maybe a little translucent in spots. We're going to hit it with about 1/8 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup of good cognac. All right, once that liquor is pretty much evaporated off, we're going to hit it with some more butter and a little flour. Now, what I like to do is use a small little strainer like this to gently dust the top so it doesn't clump. We don't want to cook too much of the flour out. All right, so now we're going to throw in some vegetable stock. You can use fish stock. I wouldn't use chicken stock. And now, this is yellow mustard. That's going to help with the color, it's going to help with the flavor, and it's about 2 tablespoons. Now we're going to go in with our heavy cream. All right, we're going to grab our lobster shells out of the oven. And they are perfect, just where we want them to be. I'm going to give them a flip. Like so. All right, so now we're going to go in and let's remove the thyme. Let's go in and we're going to stuff our lobster shells back with our lobster meat and our beautiful sauce. It's okay to leave some of the sauce in the pan. We may use it a little bit later for the final garnish. So if you can't get these to sit properly, you can put some tin foil on the inside between them. Well, I'll show you. So you can just take a piece of tin foil like this and tilt, make sure that they're all tilted up. You want it to be about the size of the pan. Throw it in the center just like that. So they're both. All right, so now we're going to cover it with some Gruyere cheese on top, and then we're going to pop it back into the oven. Gruyere like that, Gruyere like that. And then we're going to pop it back into the oven just until the cheese becomes nice and bubbly and melty. All right, time for that to come out of the oven. We should be, all nice golden brown. Look at that, guys. Look at that. All right, now to serve this, I prefer to do it with some rice. I've already went ahead, cooked the rice, and put it on a dish. This is not the episode where I teach you how to cook rice. So we are just going to plate. There we go. Let's move that to the side. Then we got our beautiful, one Thermidor. We got 2 Thermidor. Look at that. That is absolutely stunning. Let's get this out of here. Now, if you want, with some of that leftover sauce. I'll just put it to the sides a little bit. Let's get this in the center here. Just a little bit to the sides. Wonderful. Then I'm just going to garnish with some simple thyme leaves. Right there in the center. Wow, guys, this is a beautiful vintage dish. And you saw it really wasn't that incredibly difficult. I'm ready to dig in, guys. Let's see how we did. All right, I'm just gonna grab a nice big chunk of that. Look at that. Gorgeous, perfectly cooked lobster. Cheers. Wow. You get a little bit of the sharpness from the mustard. The cognac is beautiful in there. It just creates such a rich undertone. Heavy cream, luxurious. The lobster itself, absolutely delicious, buttery. The sauce is great, you know, just with some buttered rice. Oh, I'm glad I have more sauce. Off camera, this thing is going to get doused in sauce. Anyway, I hope you liked this episode of Stirring Up the Past with Chef Ralph on my YouTube channel, Chef Ralph's Realm. See you guys. You can do it. Anybody can do it. Super easy. If you like my content, please give a like, subscribe, and follow. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.